Welcome to the Millionaire's mini-series with your hosts Stephanie Keith and Stacey Failing, here to set you up with the most luxurious version of yourself. This podcast is filled with wealthy women vibes and a sneak peek into the millionaire's lifestyle. Whether you're inner millionaire's dreams of taking private jets to deserted islands or you prefer the lighter side of luxury, we have an opportunity for you that is priceless.
Come join us as we share with you all of our juicy money secrets, mindset hacks, and so much more. Money may not buy happiness, but it can provide you with an abundant life beyond your wildest dreams. So turn up the volume, adjust your crown, and get ready to embrace your inner millionaire-ass.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Stacey and I have an exciting announcement. We are opening the doors today to the Millionaire's Money Mindset Mastermind. So this is our signature program where we completely shift your money mindset from the limiting beliefs that we all grew up with around scarcity and feeling like we can only reach a certain income level. And we work through those in a number of ways. We do everything from subliminals and EFT tapping to we go over sacred money archetypes and guided visualizations. We have literally everything in there to completely shift the subconscious. And the other aspect of it that we talked a lot about last week in our boot camp is finding your purpose, like figuring out what does your dream lifestyle really look like? What do you really want to do? And then how can you monetize that? So you really get a comprehensive overhaul of your money mindset. So doors are open, get in now, save your spot. And it's going to start on September 22nd. So just right around the corner, and we'll put everything in the show notes so you can check it out. All right. So Stacey, today we are going to talk about mindset, discipline, accountability, and people getting started with something and having the best intentions, but then coming to a block in the road and not being able to really get far with it, not really being able to take action to make their goals a reality.
Yeah. And I used to think that it was a price point thing because personally, when I've signed up for things, if I don't have any skin in the game, if I haven't invested anything, there's a really good chance that I'm probably not even going to finish. Maybe I won't even get started. And so I used to think, that the higher value the program, the more apt people would be to finish it or at least get started. And I'm finding that just based on my own personal experience, that's not the case. And so trying to really navigate, because the goal is to help people succeed in whatever they sign up for, whether that's just, some self-development or if it's a tangible thing that they're trying to aim for. They signed up for a reason. And so the goal is to get them to succeed through that. But how do you help them if money isn't the thing that's going to motivate them, if their investment didn't really do it for them? What is going to really help people get to that place? And I really think it comes down to mindset, because I remember being in a place where I didn't have all of the things that I use now in my toolbox. I had so many limiting beliefs, and I just put everything else before the things that I signed up for. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it when, maybe I'm not ready. Mm-hmm. Oh, I've had a change of my mind. I don't really want to go this route. And we all do that. We all have the right to do that. But I just think it's becoming this obvious pattern. And I really do feel like it starts with that mindset, because we don't have a strong enough why. We don't have that self-discipline. And I think a lot of it is that we just have a lot of fear, and we talk about that a lot. But what are your thoughts about that? Because you are the mindset guru.
I think the why is definitely the thing. And, I talk a lot about how there's so many people that are just comfortable in their life and in their job. And, they might think it's good or nice or fine, but it's not great, but it's also not horrible. And that is such a dangerous place to be in, because then there's never really motivation to change. And so you have to have a strong why. If you don't have a strong reason for doing something, the first little tiny problem or bump in the road or excuse, you're going to completely use that to, jump off the track and not move forward. And it's funny because I have people all the time and they're like, oh my gosh, how did you write a book with little kids at home? How did you make a course and do a podcast with kids at home? It's because I want to be able to keep staying home with my kids. Like, that's my why. My why is I don't want to be in the 9 to 5 grind anymore. I did it. It was awful. I don't want to ever go back. And so I will bust my ass to make sure that I can make my own income and be my own boss and make my own schedule. And yeah, sometimes it is hard. Sometimes that means making some sacrifices and, being really strategic with my time, but it's so worth it because it's giving me the lifestyle that I want to live. But if you just like go into something and you just think like, oh, that would be nice, but you don't have like a really clear intention for why you're doing this, and you don't have a really clear vision of the lifestyle it's going to provide you, then there's not, whenever things get hard, there's not going to be that motivation to push through it. And I think we're just so used to running our lives on autopilot that a lot of people don't realize, like, I need to take a minute here and think about why I'm doing this and then set a really clear intention and plan. And instead, people just kind of go through the motions, and that's not enough when you're trying to transform your life.
Yeah, going through the motions definitely just doesn't propel you into that place. I just saw something, and it was a really good animation of being in your comfort zone. And basically what happens is when you're in this comfort zone, you just stay on this parallel path. Nothing really changes. You don't have any setbacks really. You don't have anything that really excels you. And it just is this monotonous, autopilot lifestyle. And it actually showed that it is more effective for us to get outside of our comfort zone and to be in that uncomfortable place or have a setback or a quote unquote failure when you tried something, because that puts a dip. If you think about like a parallel path and then you have this big dip in your path, you have no other place to go but up. And what they found is that when you go down into that place of discomfort and you have no other place to go up, it actually excels you above that comfort level that you stayed at your baseline. And so you have to get a little uncomfortable. You have to step out of that. You have to do the hard things in order to make progress, because you can't just expect to continue to do the same things over and over and get a different result. And so if you just put yourself into that space of uncomfortability and the unfamiliar, it can be a little scary, but the reward is so much greater. And I think you're right. The why is so key, because what I found is that if that's not strong enough, we talk about this a lot, you don't have anything really pushing you, because it's just, so we've always talked about revisiting your why. If it's not strong enough, then you need to get in there and do the work and come up with that valuable why as to the reason why did you even purchase the thing in the first place?
Right.
And it does take a lot of work up front. And I think a lot of people, we see these advertisements all the time about it's so easy, and it can be easy, but it's honestly, you have to put in the work in the beginning so that you can coast later on. You can't go into it coasting with this mindset of like, I can just, show up half the time, or I don't even have to get started. You're not going to see any results. But what you can do is commit to that, get a little uncomfortable, do the work up front so that you can set yourself up to kind of be on this lackadaisical, effortless. It is easy after you get something started, but you have to have this well-oiled machine first. And it starts by building that machine. And that's not easy for anybody. So I think we'll be the first to admit that it wasn't easy in the beginning, trying to figure everything out. And, getting our mindset took a lot of practice, and we still continue to do those things. And so I don't want anybody to think that this is easy or comfortable. But if you want to get to this place and you want to get started, you have to step into that discomfort.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think when we realize that life is not meant to be comfortable, like, you know what I mean? It's like, comfortable is mediocre, in my opinion. Like, life is meant to be great, to be exciting, to be living in your purpose and to your highest potential. And comfort is not the goal, So I think we kind of have to get out of that mindset and just kind of really look at things. And sometimes that's hard to do because that might mean admitting that you need to make some really big changes. And that's scary. And it's scary at the subconscious level, which is why, I always say you have to work on your subconscious if you want like transformational change. It's just, there's got to be the subconscious work there. But back to the why, something else that's really interesting that I've noticed is there's like two groups of people, right? Like some people, their why is going to be around like a very meaningful goal. Like for me, my why is like my kids. I want to be home for my kids. I want to build generational wealth for my kids. It's like very much, I put it outside of myself and look at them. There's other people, and my oldest daughter is a perfect example of this, where sometimes their why comes from being motivated by sort of almost like a negative motivation. But like if someone tells her she can't do something, that will give her so much motivation to not only do it, but to do it like quickly and in the best way possible. So sometimes the negative situations in our life are the very best motivators, and they happen for a reason. They happen because the universe is shaking you up so you get the hell out of that situation. So what if everyone right now looked at their life and the pain point, the part of it that just sucks? And what if you looked at it as like, you know what, maybe this is going to be my motivating factor. Maybe I don't want to deal with this boss that is condescending anymore. And that's going to give me enough push. Every single day, I'm going to think, I don't want to wake up and go to this job for the next 30 years. So I'm going to put my head down and do the work to figure out a way out of it. Right. So it's like you can use positive and negative to be that why. It just involves like examining your life a little bit and thinking like, what is the change I want to see? Whether that's getting out of a negative situation or going to a positive, it's going to be different based on everyone's mindset. But at the end of the day, like I was saying, the subconscious beliefs will run the show. Your subconscious is in charge most of the time, and it does not like change. Its whole job is to keep you safe, which means keeping you in your safe little comfort zone. And so you really have to make the conscious effort and decision to get out of it. And that's really at the core of what our Millionaire Mastermind is about. Like, yes, it's about money mindset, but the real work that Stacey and I put in the 6-week framework is to train your subconscious mind to start looking for opportunities that align with your goals, rather than just being stuck in the same routine and the same status quo. And once you can do that, once you can really get a handle and train your subconscious mind, you would be amazed at how easy the action comes. So when it comes to taking action, like taking a course or starting a business or whatever, there's two ways of doing it. There's the hard way where you really got to force it and you got to put in all this effort and it feels really uncomfortable. Or there's the easy way, which Stacey and I like, and that is starting first with your mindset and really priming your subconscious mind for your goal, and then allowing the action to take place. And what do I mean by that? I mean, when you prime your subconscious, when you learn how to do this, and everyone can learn this, by the way, when you learn how to prime your subconscious, ideas and opportunities literally fall in your lap. Meaning, if you prime your subconscious with a goal, you might notice something, whether it's online, or you might pay attention to someone in your environment, or get an email, or hear something on the news that has always been there, but you were consciously blocked off from it. But since you've trained your subconscious is going to show you like, hey, pay attention. This opportunity is right there. And so taking action feels very easy. It feels good. It feels aligned. And that's how you get things done. Like, that's how we've both grown our businesses, is by, instead of trying to force it, we prime our mindset first and then sort of let it look for the opportunities that feel good. And then we take action. And it's a completely opposite way of doing things from what we were taught but it is possible, and it's so much more fun and easy and effective. So that was a long-winded answer, Stacey.
I am following you. I was taking notes the entire time, and you highlighted a few of my thoughts, but I wanted to go back really quick to what you said about using positive and negative feedback to push you, because I think that's so important. And I can just think of one example that we had with one of our girls inside of our last mastermind. And she just knew that because we were able to help her break through her subconscious beliefs, that even though that she was still working full time, now that she had the foundation set and she knew what she was working on, and she had this clear path and this clear like everything was set up easily for her, because now she had finally found that place where she was like, yes, this is where I'm meant to be. This is what I meant to do. And even though that means that she has to stay at her job at this point, she knows it's temporary. And so she had this really yucky feeling about going and having to be at work. But it's completely shifted her way of thinking, even when she goes into her job that she knows she doesn't want to be in forever, that it is only temporary, and that you can do both. You can just stay the path. I have a good friend of mine that always says, just stay the path. And that's not the path of comfortability. Don't get that confused, but just stay the path of where you're going. And remember to come back to your why, because whether you're able to do this, immediately, which most people aren't. Steph, you and I weren't able to just jump out of our jobs right away. We had to start laying that foundation, practicing what we were trying to implement, the change that we were trying to make, and we just had to stay the path. And so I just want everybody to know that it doesn't mean that it's not going to work if it doesn't happen right away. You just have to remember to go back to the reason that you wanted to get started in the first place. And the part about mindset is just, I want to highlight some of the things that we were able to see that were just not even really planned in how we set up the mastermind. It just happened very passively. And then we kind of reflected back on that. We're like, oh my gosh, look at all these other things that these women were able to overcome just by having that foundation of the mindset practices and things that we implement in the mastermind. And it was clearing that subconscious. So many of them, walked in with similar limiting beliefs that you and I once had, and we were able to clear those. There were so many things that naturally fell into place for everybody. Like, we could literally see light bulbs going off on our calls because ideas were just blooming and people were feeling supported. We had this beautiful support network of people who were like, I found my tribe. And who knew that just being a part of a mastermind would really create lifelong friendships of people that I can connect with, not just through business, but when life gets hard or we want to celebrate one another. We've seen improvements in people's relationships throughout this time with our women in this mastermind, and how things have just kind of fallen into place in all different areas of their life. They just feel more aligned with who they are. They have more of a clear direction so that they can stay the path. They have, more inspiration and motivation to really go after those things because they have the mindset that they can do it. They feel capable now, where when they walked in, they felt as if they weren't worthy enough or they could never do this. And here they are doing all the things. And I think one of the biggest things that I've seen is that through our mastermind, we have been able to help these women create habits and that discipline that once before, when they had tried to get started, they didn't have that foundation around them to really lay that support for them. And that means, the people around them, the things that they were attracting, the improvements in their lifestyle. And it really does manifest into this lifestyle and this freedom that is meant for the person. And not everybody's going to be getting the same results. Not everybody's going to go on the same path, but as a collective group, we have seen some of these things in all of these women. And I can't help but think that it doesn't go back to that mindset piece that we really worked through in the first few weeks. And, we've heard it from their mouth about everything that they've been able to do because of that. And had they not have had that shift in mindset, then none of the things that they've been able to take action on would have helped. So I just think that goes to support what you were saying about how mindset really is that number one thing.
Yeah. And I remember so many of those aha moments where, in week 2, week 3, they're like, wait a minute, I get it now. It's the mindset first. It's how I feel that has to come first, and then the action comes second. And it's like, you really start to get it because throughout this mastermind, we call it disco ball energy because it's so high vibe. That's the only word that I could think of to describe it. And they started realizing, okay, when I'm in this energy, miraculous things start falling into place. And so it really does start with the mindset. And I think when you're ready, when you're at that point where you know you want to completely transform your life, whether it's leaving your day job, starting a business, finding your purpose, like whatever your end goal is, when you finally make that decision that you want to change, you really do need either a mastermind or a coach or a strong support network. Because like Stacey always says, like accountability, it's a real thing. And it's such an important piece of the puzzle in the beginning, because when you're first making that shift, it throws your subconscious for a loop, and all of the limiting beliefs and the doubts and the excuses come up every time you up level your life. And so if you surround yourself with a really solid group of women or, whoever to really support you, you're going to be able to move through those really easily compared to trying to do it on your own. And, Stacey, like you said, these girls, they signed up for a 6-week mastermind, and here it's almost a year later and we still talk all the time. We're always messaging each other. They're always leaning on one another and having calls with one another. So it's really like you do the 6-week mastermind, but then you have this sisterhood for life of other women who are in the same position as you. They like manifestation and they want to build wealth and they want to do all of these amazing things in their life. And you then have them, and it's like a great friendship, but it's also great accountability and great support. And I almost like it. I mean, I do like it more than one-on-one coaching, because instead of just getting one perspective, you have a whole group to lean on. And I just think it's the most powerful thing that we have done in our business. And I've seen the most transformation come from it.
Yeah. I mean, this is every other program that I've created or that I have been in, I don't know that I can say I've seen as much transformation as we've seen in the 6 weeks. And, it's these women came in with an idea of they wanted to do something, but they didn't know, they didn't know what it was. And now they're doing things that they never thought that was going to be possible. They're stepping into this discomfort, but also this creativity. And they're like, these are things that I know I'm meant to do. And you can just see how much lighter they are, and the shift altogether in their life. And yeah, when times get a little rough, or they start to doubt themselves, or they just don't really know, what is next, everybody leans on each other. And so even though Steph and I are there to facilitate and, lead the content and really start that conversation, the women are the ones that are continuously just checking in and supporting one another. And I think there is such value in learning from your peers. And I think it's very important to have a mentor and somebody that you aspire, something similar that you want to see for yourself. That's a definite must for growth. But I think learning from your peers who are in a very similar situation can be just as rewarding and can offer you just as big, if not more of a transformation, because you're all growing together. And when you're in your inner circle and you don't have people that are like that to support you and build you up and to help redirect you in the time of need and things like that, it can be really easy to get back off track and just kind of in that mindset where you don't make and take action. And when you have a place to go, because when you join our mastermind, you have access to all of the groups. So you won't have access to just the group that you start with, but you can connect with the women that were in the program years ago. You can connect with the future women. And so we're building this community of women who want to do the same thing and have very similar goals. And I think that's worth more than anything. I can't put a price on that, because even us, Steph, you and I have said like this was our favorite part, is the women that we were able to meet along the way and the connections. And we've got big plans. We want to host a retreat and meet each other face to face. And like, it doesn't feel like, I don't know a better way to describe it, but it doesn't feel like a transaction. These women aren't
Yeah.
numbers to us. It's literally, they will email us and we'll respond to their emails, and we're just there. We're there to support and help and guide and just be sisters with. And I think that's the really cool thing about that is it's never felt like a work
Well,
or a course, or you know what I mean? It just feels
yeah.
like we've built this sisterhood, and that's all it is. It's
Because I
amazing.
feel like we're not like normal coaches. Like they're not our clients. They're our friends. Well, more than our friends, we always say like soul family. Like they are our soul family. And like I wasn't kidding when I say anyone who is a coaching client of mine becomes like best friends with me, because you do like you share this bond and you're helping them on this transformational journey. And like you really do become close, and you're able to be vulnerable and lean on one another. And it's like, how do you not become like soul family and like lifelong friends after that? And so it's like we really do love our clients. Like we want to stay in touch with them, we follow them, we see what they're doing. We're always sort of there, like just cheering them on. And it's like when you sign up to be a millionaires, you're a millionaires for life. So like
Was
Stacey said, you're
way
in the
beyond the 6
program.
weeks, way beyond
Yeah.
the 6 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we add to the program, which we always do, you get access to that stuff. It's a lifetime membership. You get access to the private group that we're in so that you can stay in touch with, people that were in your round or previous alumni. And it's just a great community. So I'll leave you with this. I want everyone to imagine that it's New Year's Eve of this year, and you're with your friends and your family and you're getting ready to toast. What are you most grateful for that you manifested? What do you want to be able to say that you did? Do you want to be in the same exact place that you're in right now? And if the answer is no, you want something better, you want something different for your life, then you need to join this mastermind, because this will shake you out of your comfort zone in the best way possible. So if that's you and you're ready, then join, get in as soon as possible. We like to keep these groups intimate because it's so important to have those strong relationships. And we want to make sure that everybody gets time to get some, coaching and everything like that. So get in, save your spot. We'll keep the doors open until the spots fill up, or until the start date, which is the 22nd of September. And we're hoping to meet a lot of really inspiring women that are ready to change their lives, and we're ready to hold your hand and walk with you. So we will link everything up in the show notes, and see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.